Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Deep Dive Knowledge. Hello. I would like to learn more about the prompt engineering strategies discussed in your study. Could you please explain the CoStar framework and how it can be used to structure prompts for language models?
Of course. The CoStar framework is a helpful template for structuring prompts to elicit optimal responses from language models, LLMs. It was developed by GovTech Singapore's data science and I team. The CoStar framework consists of 5 key components. 1. Context. This component provides the necessary context or background information for the prompt. It helps the LLM understand the task and the specific domain it is working in. 2. Objective. This component defines the main objective or goal of the prompt. It clearly states what the LLM is expected to do or accomplish. 3. System prompt. The system prompt outlines the general task at hand. It sets the format and structure for the response the LLM should provide. 4. Task-specific instructions. These instructions provide specific guidance and constraints for the LLM to follow while generating the response. They can include things like the desired format, length limitations, or any other specific requirements. 5. Artifact. This component refers to any additional information or input that is provided to the LLM. It could be in the form of example inputs, reference documents, or any other relevant data that can help the LLM generate accurate and relevant responses. By incorporating these 5 components into the prompt, the CoStar framework ensures that the prompt is well structured, provides clear instructions, and maximizes the chances of obtaining the desired response from the LLM. To use the CoStar framework, you would start by defining the context and objective of your prompt. Then, you would create a system prompt that outlines the task and format of the response. Next, you would provide task-specific instructions to guide the LLM's response generation. Finally, if needed, you would include any artifacts or additional information that can assist the LLM in generating accurate responses. By following this framework, you can optimize the effectiveness and relevance of the LLM's responses.
Thank you for explaining the CoStar framework in detail. It seems like a comprehensive approach to structuring prompts for language models. In terms of the system prompt component, could you provide some examples of how it can be used to guide the LLM's behavior throughout a chat conversation?
The system prompt component is a powerful tool that can be used to guide the behavior of the language model throughout a chat conversation. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Task definition. You can use the system prompt to clearly define the task or objective of the conversation. By providing specific instructions in the system prompt, you can guide the LLM to focus on specific topics or provide relevant information. For example, if you want the LLM to generate a summary of a given study, you can include instructions like, "Please provide a concise summary of the study in your responses." 2. Output format. The system prompt can be used to specify the desired format or structure of the LLM's responses. This helps in ensuring that the LLM provides responses that are consistent and meet the required criteria. For instance, if you want the LLM to provide answers in bullet points or with proper citations, you can include instructions like, "Please provide your responses in bullet points," or, "Ensure that your responses include appropriate references." 3. Guardrails. Guardrails refer to the boundaries or limitations within which the LLM should operate. It helps in preventing the model from generating inappropriate or biased responses. You can include instructions in the system prompt to guide the LLM's behavior and ensure it adheres to ethical guidelines. For example, You can include instructions like, avoid generating any offensive or discriminatory content, or, do not provide medical advice. As the LLM is not a medical professional, by using the system prompt effectively, you can provide clear instructions to the LLM and guide its behavior throughout the chat conversation, ensuring that it stays on track and generates responses that align with your intended goals.
Thank you for providing those examples of how the system prompt can be used to guide the LLM's behavior. It seems like an important component in prompting the language model effectively. In your study, you also mentioned the use of delimiters to section prompts. Could you please explain how the use of delimiters can improve the LLM's response? How are these delimiters implemented in practice?
The use of delimiters can significantly improve the LLM's response by helping it understand and process different parts of the prompt as separate units of meaning. Delimiters serve as content separators, allowing the LLM to recognize and treat specific sections of the prompt differently. When delimiters are implemented in practice, they are typically chosen as unique sequences of special characters that wouldn't normally appear together. For example, delimiters could be ###, greater than, or any other combination of special characters. The specific choice of characters is not critical, as long as they are distinctive enough for the LLM to recognize them as delimiters. To implement delimiters, you can include them in your prompt at the beginning and end of each section that you want the LLM to process separately. For instance, you might use delimiters to section off different parts of a prompt that require distinct processing. Each section is enclosed within delimiters, making it clear to the LLM that they should be treated as separate entities. These delimiters provide structure to the prompt, enabling the LLM to understand the intended organization of the information. By using delimiters to section the prompt, the LLM can better comprehend the context and meaning associated with each section. This improves the LLM's ability to generate more relevant and accurate responses, especially in complex tasks where the prompt requires different aspects to be considered separately. Therefore, the use of delimiters is an effective practice in prompt engineering that can enhance the LLM's response quality and enable more precise control over its behavior.
Thank you for explaining how delimiters can be implemented in practice to improve the LLM's response. It's interesting to see how delimiters can provide structure and organization to the prompt, enabling better comprehension for the language model. In your study, you mentioned the concept of system prompts. Could you please elaborate on what system prompts are and how they can be used to guide the behavior of LLMs throughout a chat conversation? How do system prompts differ from regular prompts?
System prompts are an additional prompt where you provide instructions on how the LLM should behave throughout a chat conversation. They are different from regular prompts because they act as a filter that the LLM automatically applies to every response it generates within the chat. Regular prompts are typically used at the beginning of a chat conversation to set the context and provide initial instructions to the LLM. However, LLMs have a conversational memory limitation, and as the conversation progresses, they may forget the initial prompt, rendering the instructions obsolete. In contrast, system prompts are designed to overcome this limitation. They ensure that the LLM continues to receive the instructions provided in the system prompt with each new prompt throughout the entire chat, regardless of its length. This way, the LLM can consistently follow the desired behavior and generate responses aligned with the instructions given. System prompts can be used to guide the behavior of LLMs by including instructions in three main categories. 1. Task definition. clearly define the task or objective the LLM should focus on throughout the conversation. This helps the model understand the purpose and context of the conversation, enabling it to generate more relevant and accurate responses. 2. Output format. Specify how the LLM should structure and format its responses. This includes guidelines on length, style, or any specific requirements for the generated output. By providing clear instructions on the desired output format, you can ensure that the LLM's responses meet your expectations. 3. Guardrails. Set boundaries or constraints for the LLM's behavior. Guardrails define what the LLM should avoid doing or responding to. These can be ethical guidelines, sensitive topics, or any limitations you want to impose on the model's responses. By explicitly stating the guardrails in the system prompt, you can steer the LLM's behavior in a desired direction. By utilizing system prompts effectively, you can guide the behavior of LLMs throughout a chat conversation, ensuring that they consistently adhere to the provided instructions, maintain relevant context, and generate responses aligned with the desired objectives.
Thank you for providing a clear explanation of system prompts and how they differ from regular prompts. It's interesting to see how system prompts can address the conversational memory limitation of LLMs and help guide their behavior throughout a chat conversation. In the CoStar framework, you mentioned that the AR component refers to artifacts provided to the LLM. Could you provide some examples of the types of artifacts that can be included in the prompts to assist the LLM in generating accurate and relevant responses? How can these artifacts be incorporated effectively into the prompt structure?